Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. It seems the ponies have got my buddy Doc Dark. His head's spinning right now. But we're going to go ahead and fix that right now because I have actually bought an Xbox Series S and I have had the Xbox Series S for over a year now. Let's put this into perspective, okay? Let's put this into perspective. The Xbox Series S is not going to hold this generation back whatsoever. I've played countless games on this thing, everything from last gen games that have had boost mode all the way up to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Gotham Knights, and A Plague Tale Requiem, all on this Series S. And guess what? It's pretty stable. It's pretty stable. It feels fine. The visuals still look incredible. Modern Warfare 2, the campaign is getting you 1440p at 60 frames a second, even has 120 frames a second, and that game looks more next gen than anything we've seen yet. Than anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get how these ponies can run around talking about how the Xbox Series S is going to hold the generation back when their PlayStation 5 can't even run Plague Tale Innocence at a locked 30 frames, Plague Tale Requiem at a locked 30 frames a second. So I don't get I don't get how they want to say this. While we're putting this into perspective, if we go back to before the consoles were even launched, when they showed us the Unreal 5 engine demo, it showed on a PlayStation 5 running at 1440p at 30 frames a second. You heard that right. 30 frames a second at 1440p resolution. And then we got the Matrix demo. I played it on all three of those consoles. I played it on the Series S, I played it on the PlayStation 5, and I played it on the Xbox Series X. And guess what? They were all locked to 30 frames a second. All of them had problems. This is going to be the first generation in a very long time that we are going to be stuck with 30 frames per second games still. Going forward, some games are going to be 30 frames a second. Other games are going to shoot for 60 frames a second and 120 frames a second. Last generation, they introduced dynamic resolution. This generation, they have introduced dynamic FPS. Now, it gets really hard to continue with the whole console war stuff. I get that. Like, I get it. After seeing, disappointing news that, Gotham Knights is going to be 30 frames a second, Plague Tale Requiem is going to run with MUF 40 FPS quality mode. Those are the things that we're going to have to deal with those as console gamers. Like, there's no way to get around that. And to sit here and try to kick the Xbox Series S for being a budget-friendly console that will play next-gen games at a budget with lower resolution, there's nothing in the Series S or nothing that I've seen on the Series S that makes me question those claims whatsoever. Forza Horizon 5 looks incredible on it. Halo Infinite plays just fine on the Series S. Every single game that I've played on my Series S, I've never thought like I'm at a disadvantage. I've never felt negative about it. I mean, I put mine on a 1440p monitor. That's what it's designed for, up to 1440p. Like, it's designed for up to 1440p. My 3080 graphics card is struggling to run Plague Tale Requiem and Gotham Knights, man, at over 60 frames a second at 1440p with ultra settings. So to think that any of these consoles are going to hold a generation back is comical. Like, literally freaking comical. There's going to be games. You will have some cutbacks on the Series S version, depending on how the developer wants to use those resources and like what kind of cuts they're going to make to it. Because I've seen some terrible stuff, like Stranger of Paradise with like the textures and everything just really cut back, looking like PlayStation 3 generation stuff, and I'm like, wow, man. Some developers are gonna optimize better for Series S than others, and that's true. It just is gonna take some decent optimization to get things running on that. But they want to still charge you $70 if you have a Series S for these AAA bangers. So let that sink in, man. Like, these guys are gonna, if the developer is gonna almost maybe optimized for your Series S and still want $70. I see, that's the thing, man. They're still getting their pay. They're increasing the pay, or they're increasing the price because it's harder to develop or whatever. Well, okay, then develop a good product for the Series S. Looking at Gotham Knights alone on my Xbox Series S, when I put that in there and I was looking at it, I was like, man, I really am having a hard time telling the difference on this 1440p monitor compared to my 3080 graphics card. I'm not just saying that. Like, I was having a hard time trying to see a major difference in the visuals when it came to that game. When I put Modern Warfare 2 in there and I played through that mission, I was like, wow, this looks and feels incredible. And this is running on the Xbox Series S, and it looks incredible. Like, literally looked incredible on that 1440p monitor. So I don't really think that, I mean, yes, there are going to be games that are going to come out this generation that are going to kneecap all three of these consoles and put them at 30 frames a second. Yeah, that's totally true. That is totally true. As soon as this Unreal Engine 5 games start coming out, we're going to see a whole lot of 30 FPS, because as much as everybody out there's like, oh yeah, they're going to use Unreal Engine 5, there's a lot of developers that are talking about Unreal Engine 5, and we're going to see a lot of 30 frames a second, man. Like, it is cool looking technology, but we're giving up. We're going to be giving up FPS for those pretty visuals. And that's just the way it is. And as you can see, like, the PC crowd is not safe either, man. Like, my 3080 is more powerful than the Xbox Series S, PS5, and Series X, and Series S literally combined. And I'm still not even able to get 4K at over 60 frames a second on any of these games. Like, I mean, I can get 4K, but I run it at 1440p. And if games like Gotham Knights and Plague Tale are already stressing my PC to run it 60 frames a second, I can tell you, man, yeah, we're going to get a lot of 30 frames per second this generation. And that doesn't mean that the Series S is responsible for that at all. Like, literally at all. If anything, it's going to be the PC platform that is going to hold things back for certain games, so they can get developed on it. The Series S is a beast. It's designed for 1080p to 1440p. So yeah, and it's more than capable of doing that. If the PlayStation 4 Pro could do 4K, like everybody was wowed at the stuff they saw on the PlayStation 4 Pro. If the PlayStation 4 Pro with that weak Jaguar and 4 teraflops of GCN can wow you, but you're trying to tell me the Series S can't, I don't know, man. It's hard to take you clowns seriously that are out there saying that the Series S isn't a next gen console. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you later. I'll see you guys later tonight.